Catherine Swift is here, so we're talking about the economy. The parliamentary budget officer the other day came out and said, you know what? The debt is huge. It's a big problem. And a number of people are saying, well, so what? So what? You know, when Mulroney in '84, Michael Wilson, the great Michael Wilson, they tried to bring spending under control. Canadians went crazy. It was till 10 years later, when Chrétien and Martin were in '93, they said, we finally have to do something about it, and they had a majority, they could do it. But my average person say, well, so what if we have big debt? Will you please answer that?
Well, there's
I know the answer,
obviously. I know, but it's a good point, because a lot of people on the left of the political spectrum they're trying to come up. Remember modern monetary policy? And that was basically the point of that was that debt didn't matter.
Yes.
Oh, we'll just it's not real.
Trudeau
we'll pay it off. Yeah, we'll pay it off over whatever. But one of the big issues is right now we're paying more in debt interest than the federal transfers to healthcare. It's coming up to almost $60 billion a year. And that's just federal government, by the way, because all of our provincial governments, sometimes you see these international measures where it says, well, Canada's, debt amount really isn't that bad, but they're only ever talking about the federal level of government.
Right.
We have massive debts in every single province as well. And Ontario's terrible. It's one of the worst. They call it the sick man of North America now, in part because of the debt.
Government.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they're conservative in name only, let's put it that way. But I mean, when we think of debt as an individual, sure, governments can take on more because they're given a little, because they have the power of taxation. That's why. But once it gets to the point, as it did in 1995, that lenders are saying, we're not lending you anymore. Sorry, you got this massive debt, you got to stop doing.
Is that when Canadians, the average Canadian out there, trying to keep things together, and here's you and I talking about debt, here everybody else talking about the huge debt, is that where it comes home when they say, you know what, we're going to grind to a halt?
I think that's part of when it does. But what I find interesting, and this is another kind of Canadian feature, right now our economy is in the tank in Canada. It's in big trouble. If you can read any economic data, you can't come to any other conclusion. And yet, you mentioned Mulroney, when he tried to cut back on some of the spending, he got pasted for it. But Liberals seem to be able to be forgiven to do it more than Conservatives do, which I find interesting, because they're usually the ones that ran up the terrible debt in the first place. So.
Well, we're always the ones that are in government.
Well, that's the other reality of Canada for sure. But I think the Liberals had an easier time of it because Canadians accepted it more from them than they did from Conservatives. And that's an unfortunate reality in Canada, because any government should be treated equally when it comes to the bad economic trends
so,
like that.
Catherine, you're sounding optimistic that there's a Liberal government now and they finally may get to doing something that has to be done.
Time will tell. I would welcome it. I welcome some things Carney did. I welcomed the increase to the military. I thought that was long overdue and a very good policy move. So if they do good policy, I don't care what party they are, I'll say it's good or I'll say it's bad based on the merit of the policy.
And I agree with you, and thank you very much. 3 minutes. Thank you for watching another analysis of the issues that impact Canada. Trudeau is gone. We have to rebuild the country. We need independent analysis. We need debate. We need thought. So please keep us on the air. Subscribe, donate, become a member, because God knows Canada needs rebuilding.